This is the Amp Hour Podcast. Released March 26th, 2023. Episode 625. Gremlins in the Machine.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
That fire alarm was not me.
This time. I was watching a video of someone puncturing a spicy fire pillow this morning. A lithium cell going off in someone's lab.
Yes, we've got that on the list. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, was that on the list? I didn't even see it on the list.
I think unmanaged.
Someone had sent it to me.
615 put it on there.
Those things really, they still scare the crap out of me.
For those who haven't seen it, we'll link it in. He cut through an 18650 cell. I presume it was fully charged. I mean, I can't remember the exact details. With one of those pneumatic cordless pruner things, I guess you could call them. I guess they're like tree pruners or something. And he
like the one that this old Tony does too, huh? Yeah.
What's this old Tony?
This old Tony's like another machining channel. Like
okay.
AV
Right.
is. Yeah.
Right. Got it.
It's great. Great job.
When was the last time you saw an Arduino on his channel?
No, a long time ago.
For those who don't know, AVE stands for Arduino versus Evil.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what
far afield.
He did one Arduino video like 10 years ago or something.
He did a couple.
Did he? I can't remember. It's so long ago.
Yeah.
You know.
It's
yeah. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to go back and watch them actually because I don't remember what they were.
Interesting.
So, but anyway, yes, we had to delay the recording of this because there was a fire alarm. And
fire alarms.
Apparently
safety third.
Safety third. Yes, it wasn't a real one. It was a test, even though they didn't come and tell us. They did give us forewarning. I don't know, a week ago or something.
Yeah. And
apparently some people have complained that they couldn't hear the last alarm. So they did like an audit of the building or something. So they set it off and they left it going. You know, because normally like the siren actually turns off after a little, after a couple of minutes or something. And then the lights just flash and the fire engine comes and, et cetera.
Oh,
but
God.
They just kept it blaring. And
might be different country to country too. I don't.
I'm sure.
Drills
they
are
got
different there.
regulations.
Yeah.
Well, how does it work over there in Yankee Land?
I don't really sit in commercial buildings anymore.
Well, I was going to say, when was the last time you were in a multi-story commercial building?
Let's see. So it would have been pre-pandemic. I don't know the last time I was in around for a fire drill.
Yeah.
They used to have them in my condo building, and that was not fun.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. And like hotels, I feel like every time I go to a hotel, that's when they go off, Like 2 in the morning.
I've only had that happen once, I think. I was in Singapore and it was like 2 a.m. in the morning. Wow. The freaking fire alarm went off, So it's like, that was startling.
I think it's the thing, like I've slept in a lot of hotel rooms, but I always remember the ones where the fire alarm goes off.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I can vividly remember coming out at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. That is a jarring experience.
Yeah. And you don't come out in your pajamas like you actually No, you go to the effort to put some actual clothes on and grab all your stuff just in case you can't come back, so it's like no. Well,
speaking of being in hotels overseas, I got back from Germany. I think I made it sans COVID this year, and
how long did the trip take?
Trade show. On the way out there, it took me 28 hours.
28 hours,
yeah. I missed a plane.
That's basically the same from here. It'll take you 28 hours to get to Germany from here.
Yeah. It was a pretty rough day that day.
All right.
Not as bad on the way home. So
right. Okay.
But still a bit of a haul. I think it's more like 40 if you get layovers and stuff. It's got to be a ton.
Did you fly business or cattle?
Oh no, cattle class. Come on,
cattle.
Man. We're gonna start up.
Couldn't even swing it. Oh, what? All the money was in Silicon Valley Bank, was it? So they didn't have enough liquidity to pay for business class.
That was
Uh,
not us, so that's
yeah,
a good
well,
thing. That was a bit of a
well,
wild ride
yeah.
there.
Like, should we talk about that? Because that's like apparently 50% of startups in Silicon Valley used Silicon Valley Bank, and
We
for
could
a
talk
while
about
there,
it. I think probably people are sick of it by this point. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
probably that
it
was a
does
huge
have
deal.
actual impact. Yeah, sure, sure, sure. I
Yeah,
mean, like
massive.
a lot of people were scared.
Yeah,
You know, I it, it's a scary time when stuff like that happens, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what else to
Well,
say.
see, people were complaining about, oh, what are you worried about? You got 250 grand, federal deposit
Mm,
insurance. It's the same here. I think it's 200,000 or something here, but
mm-hmm,
similar order, which the
mm-hmm,
government actually protect your bank deposits, and you can still get it within, even if they didn't save the bank, which they did. Oh, well, they
mm-hmm,
saved it, sold, and they secured all the deposits. They guaranteed
mm-hmm.
all the deposits, but for 3 days there or something, it was all like,
Yeah,
holy
it
crap,
was a
we
weekend.
can't get
Yeah,
our money out. Yeah, it was a
it was like a
weekend.
Friday to a Monday. Yeah,
And people
yeah,
don't realize that if you're even a small to medium business, 250K is
yeah.
nothing.
That's not.
Like you're
Yeah,
just like you cannot pay a week's wages. You are 1 week away from not being able
yeah,
to pay wages and people start walking out, right?
yeah.
If you
Right.
can't access that cash. So it's like, oh, why don't you spread it across 10 different banks?
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah,
Have you tried the red
yeah.
tape involved in doing that with your accounting system? And oh God,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah,
just
it's a mess.
shocking.
Yep.
It's a mess. Yeah, I just did my taxes the other day. That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm glad it stuck around. Or I mean, I'm glad the depositors are not going to lose their dough.
they're not going to lose their dough, but all their investors did.
SVB is no
No,
more.
yeah, it's,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like when I think about people listening to
They
this,
had a haircut. Is the
y-
industry term? They
yeah,
actually had to
a
take a
full
haircut,
a full haircut. Yeah.
a full back and sides.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it called that in America? Back and
What's
sides.
that?
A full back and sides is like get a short back and
Take it all the way
sides.
down.
Yeah, it's like a short back and sides.
I always hear like the military ones, like the high end tights and stuff
Ah,
like
right.
that.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's just slip in that number two and go all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people listening to this, right? So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, why the hell should I care? I think one thing to think about is if you're ever going to join like a small company, you're probably not going to be able to ask them like, where do you have your money? I mean, maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's not an interview. It's not a recommended
Yeah, that's
interview
not it.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
So just putting it out there.
I do think it's super legit. Like if so I've been part of two and a half startups now, if you count Supply Frame as a startup.
All right.
They were very, very big. It's super legit to ask about like, how much runway do you have? That's the nice way to ask how much money do you have in the bank, right?
Runway. Yes, that's
Runway
the
is
legit
is
terminology.
is the
Yeah.
that's the phrase you get. And past startups I've been at, they told me a number that was very satisfying during the interview, and it still didn't really matter because conditions changed, and like that's fine.
Right. So they actively tell you. You didn't have to ask them. They actively.
No, I did ask them.
Oh, okay.
And
Right.
what I'm saying is
Okay.
they told me a
Right.
number that was good, and then there were still
Right.
layoffs. So like that's just because business changed, and so
Mhm.
there's like you can't control the stuff outside of the
Right.
company and just how stuff like that changed. But it's really important, I think, if I was getting hired when I got hired by ABB, I didn't ask them about their cash flow, right?
No, exactly. They're a huge
They're so big,
conglomerate.
and
Yeah,
they're a
yeah.
conglomerate, right? And there was almost 0% chance you could get it,
Well, you wouldn't ask that of a normal business. You wouldn't
right?
ask that of a normal, in quote marks, business. It'd only be a startup question,
I
surely.
don't know. I don't know. Like
Or
I
is that
think
just, I don't know. I haven't
where
gone
do
for
you
jobs in
draw the
Silicon
line to
Valley.
like normal business? I suppose, right? That's the real thing.
Well, okay, if it's a small business, but any like
Sure, small business.
that like you're being interviewed by a HR person, for example, it's like, you like once you've reached that HR person level, the company's big enough to sort of like, I
To
don't
have
know,
an
you
HR
maybe
person.
wouldn't.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, so like I have a family member that runs a small business, and I think I don't know. I think that's a totally legit question. Like it's not asking how much money do you have. It's if things went sideways tomorrow, how long could you survive? I think
Yeah,
that's
right.
a sign of like fiscal responsibility and understanding your business. Like I think every business owner should at least understand that because there's like
Yeah.
there's a burn rate, like you mentioned, right? If you can't
Oh,
make
of course.
payroll,
You're screwed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I heard an interview question that I thought was I had never heard it before, but I think it's actually a really great question, which is like, have you never not been able to make payroll? I think that's actually a really great question to ask in an interview, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
because it might have been a one-time thing, but a one-time thing is different than an
Well,
n-time thing, and like a three-time thing, even with good
well, it's
explanations.
debatable because you
Yeah.
can say a percentage of companies are going to take that the wrong way.
Yeah, I think it's a very well thought out. I think it's. I don't
It
know.
shows that you know the business.
I think it shows experience.
It shows that
Exactly,
you
it
know
shows
the business.
experience,
Okay,
and
right.
and that
Yeah, all
you're
right.
looking out for your own interests, and that
Yeah,
you're like you're. How about this? Younger Chris would have been like, yeah, whatever, I'll work anywhere. Like this is like,
yeah.
it
Right.
just shows that like you have different priorities in life, and that they need to be respected, and like you're not going to just stomp on my paycheck, just because you're trying out some new crazy idea like a new checkmark system.
Yeah,
Or
well,
whatever.
if you ask that question, it means that you don't have a lot of screw you money. That to me, like if I was an employer and
No, I
somebody
don't think
asked that, I would
I don't think
take
that's the
that as
case.
going, they don't have screw you money. Okay, they're going to stick around.
I don't think that's the case.
They're more likely, on average, they're more
No,
likely to stick around. No, you
I,
don't
I, I
agree.
don't think that question is the case. No, I think it. I mean, it does depend on you ask it though, right? Like
Oh, of
if you say
course.
like I have to get every page, I have to
Oh,
get paid every
yeah,
two
I know.
weeks, or else,
If yeah,
like that
right,
just reeks of desperation.
right.
But I think what when I heard that question asked, it's the sign of that's the sign of experience, right? It's the sign of someone who's
Yeah,
been through a bad startup in the past, right? I think
right.
that has nothing to do with like personal cash flow. I think.
Sure, but some people might interpret that as, well, this person needs their
Sure,
money.
sure, yeah. You can't stop how people interpret it. But
Yeah.
anyways, I respect those questions in an interview coming from the person I'm interviewing. I think that's actually, like I said, the sign of experience and a good thing to ask. And
Yep.
and if I'm not the person to answer it, then like then I should be able to point them at the person who can.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of jobs,
Yeah, you're gonna get one finally.
told you so.
No.
I've
Well,
got a perfect segue here.
okay.
A company called Anthropic. They're advertising a prompt
Oh
engineer.
yeah, I saw this. Prompt engineer. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that's great. Yeah. How did you find this? Was it just like on Twitter? Where was this?
I remember showed up in my feed somewhere. Sorry, I
Huh.
don't know who posted it, but yeah,
Yeah.
things just show up
Interesting.
in your Twitter feed at random,
Yeah.
because
Huh.
somebody else you follow retweeted it or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it showed up, and Anthropic with a slash instead of an I in PIC there. So,
Yeah.
like, wank.
Ugh.
Paid some consultant
Ugh.
bloody, $100,000 to come up with that.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, anyway, so it's a prompt engineer. We've talked about this. It's basically using how to use Chat GPT or some other AI. In this particular case, it's an AI company. They've got their own AI tech.
Yeah, it seemed like almost like an audit of like their stuff, right? So you're trying to find the most radical ways to kind of use and abuse
their own
API.
stuff, use and abuse their own stuff. But but the thing is, it pays between $175,000 and $335,000 a year.
That is
right?
spicy. Yeah, that's a
That
lot
is
of dough.
spicy, right? That is a lot of dough.
That's in San Francisco though, so that's like I don't know, like 50 grand in other places.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well, no, I would say that's a good. Somebody I think threw the number of 140K at me here, and I'm still going, well, 140K for a job like this. Literally, you could learn to do this in a day or two. I'm not kidding. There are no. Basically,
right. Learn it in a day or two. Take a lifetime of ChatGPT.
And you can bluff you as long as you sell yourself well at the interview, and you gave them examples of you could cram for this in 24 to 48 hours, right? You could cram for this interview. Seriously, I am not kidding. And if you were well spoken and articulate, you
do
could.
They have requirements on education or no? What is the?
Have you got the link?
I've got it here. Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
Blah.
You may be a good fit if you have at least a high level familiarity with the architecture and operation of large language models. You don't even need detailed, of how they work.
Yeah,
you just need.
Here's the thing. These kind of posts, they are super open sounding, whatever. They're gonna hire the person who worked at OpenAI in the past. That is the only way you're ever getting paid $335,000 a year is if you're senior engineer at OpenAI working on the stuff that's really popular. That's the only way. Yeah.
But what if those jobs? What if you're that good and this is a nothing salary for that sort of position, which it might be? So they end up with all the work experience kiddies coming in and wanting, 170,
Yeah. Here's what I'll say when I look at this. I do not envy the person has to filter through the amount of crap they're going to get into their inbox for this job.
Yep.
Holy crap. Like, this is just such an open,
Oh, it's
like,
so open, right?
anyone could apply for
Yeah.
this, right? And with a salary that
Here
high.
is what you're expected to do: discover, test, and document best practices. First wank word for a wide range of tasks relevant to our customers, and build up a library of. So that just means muck around all day on the AI and see if you can come up with right. And you've got to document it. Right? You remember the difference between science and what's science and what's not is documenting
Write it down.
Write
That's
it
right.
down
Yep.
is writing it down.
Yep.
That's science, right? Build up a library of high quality prompts and prompt chains to accomplish a variety of tasks with an easy guide to help users search for one that meets their needs. So you've just got to have a basic ability to write a procedure. Like within, as I said, 24, 48 hours, you could do this sort of stuff, set up a fake website that you've done or a fake blog or something. And with like, seriously, and then build a set of tutorials and interactive tools
Sounds
that
like you
teach the
should
art
apply,
of prompt
Dave.
engineering. I should.
It sounds like you should apply. You
This
have
is
experience
ridiculous.
discussing prompt engineering, both on your widely
Yes.
lauded podcast and in your own artistic endeavors.
Yes.
Yeah.
All you've got to do is sell yourself well and just show a few examples of what you've done.
That's true of any job.
Oh, well,
I think,
yes, it is. But like, they're not expecting much. Like,
They're not,
it's like it's not like you have to be a high, like, you know, if you've written a few small Python programs, that's beneficial.
Given that the field of prompt engineering is arguably less than 2 years old, this position is a bit hard to hire for. This is PR. This is exactly what it is. It's PR. People, It worked though. I mean, like, hey, we're talking about it. So
yeah, exactly.
Good on you, Anthropic.
But anyway,
stinky AI companies. I'm so sick of all these. I'm so sick of AI, Dave. I'm so sick of it.
But it did come true literally within months.
Sure.
You know, and the term prompt engineering is now a career. Right, and it's paying up to $335,000 a year.
Sure, yeah, this is a new.
Literally,
we're
gone from nothing.
This is an actual job listing, right? Sure. Yeah, but how do we know this wasn't written by an AI?
Exactly, you don't.
You don't know. You don't know.
Anyway, AI is going to be banned soon, or parts of it. So that's my prediction. Okay. AI will be banned and limited everywhere. Yep.
In the other direction, right? So, like, I feel like all of this stuff is about like, oh, we're not gonna have to do anything, and like, you know, I've talked about like it's gonna be co-working on stuff, working with prompts, and doing that sort of stuff, all this GitHub Copilot X stuff, and all of the AI code generation tools, whatever. But here's the thing: I still suck at a lot of things, like really bad at a lot of different things, and like, what's gonna happen in that? Let's prognosticate 20 years in the future, right? So now the AI stuff is so good that everyone's like, oh, I'll just, put it in the machine. But somebody has to understand how the stuff works underneath, right? Somebody has to know how to do bit masking, what it actually means at a basic level, instead of just asking some computer how to do it, right? Is that a stupid thing to think?
But it's turtles all the way down, right? You can go, I want to do this thing. And then the AI tells you, well, you need this shifting algorithm or something, and you have no idea what that is. Well, you chat GPT that, and it explains what that is, and then you find something else. Well, it's turtles all the way down, right? It'll just keep explaining until the cows come home.
Yeah, but like actually understanding it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't have to understand it if it produces a working result.
Yeah, but what about when it breaks? Like, here's the thing: it's not going to work the first time. This is what I keep coming back to. Is like, what? And okay, so there's two things here. One is, who's going to troubleshoot all this crap, right? How do we know if it's actually working as expected? Or is it just more, writing new prompts to see if, A didn't work, we should try B, blah, blah, blah.
Some things are obvious. They either work or they don't. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that falls under their category.
Actually works, right? I mean, like, there's stuff where I've worked with experts and they don't know how it works after, 10 years of working on this code, right? I mean, like, it's just like, there's gremlins in the machine. All right. To use stupid language about it.
Yes.
Okay. So that's one thing, is like, someone's got to troubleshoot and fix the broken crap. And there's some things where the large language models aren't going to have enough knowledge of the underlying system, right? Like there's just some corner cases where it's just not going to work. And like in that scenario, okay, that's one thing. The second thing is, now my daughter's going to grow up with this stuff widely available, and it's going to probably teach her a lot of things, but it's also going to be a tool that she uses. And so now I think about like, all right, so now 20 years from now, what do the kids that grew up with this stuff, how do they understand the stuff all the way down, the turtles all the way down, right? I mean, like how do you, having grown up with this, right? How do you dig into some of the underlying knowledge? Now, I have been very critical about the education system overall, and I don't think bottom up engineering is the right method in a lot of ways. But also, when these computers hand you answers,
yeah, but this is the ultimate top down engineering, is it
is
not?
totally, yeah. Oh,
It's
totally,
the
yes.
ultimate.
Right. And so, like, from a certain perspective, I should be like embracing this with open arms, and a lot of it I am.
You should, Mr. Contextual Electronics.
I know, Dave. I know. This is, you're feeling my stress here.
Yeah.
But who's gonna fix stuff?
He can feel his world crumbling, folks.
Yeah.
He can just
no, not crumbling. I'm just introspective and tired. So, but like, okay, so like, then, so I worry about the troubleshooting now. What about troubleshooting in the future? Who's gonna open the hood and dig underneath, right? And who's gonna design the circuit board and understand how the circuit board works and be able to fix things? I don't know. Like, maybe this is the alternative to the prompt engineer, is the mechanic, the digital mechanic of the future, is the true power holder, because everyone can be a prompt engineer, but only certain people can be the digital mechanics.
Right.
I don't know.
It
doesn't stack up right now either, right? I mean, like, when I think about like some of the engineers I've worked with in the past who were like, they're really good at assembly language, right? They like grew up and learned assembly language. They're not getting paid that much more, like in terms of like economic value, they're not getting paid that much more, or maybe even they're maybe being paid less because they've been pigeonholed into a career, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're in some niche that's really not that sought after,
right?
But so yeah, somebody will want it. You'll always find a job, but it won't be like like a prompt. It won't pay like a prompt engineering job will.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you and I are still here writing C like a bunch of schlubs while
exactly.
Some designer somewhere is using some high level language to make a fancy website for $600,000 a year. So economically, maybe it doesn't. So there's the economic piece of it that's frustrating and continues to frustrate me. But then there's the actual, just practical, who's going to fix this stuff when it breaks? That's the part I don't understand, and I would love our audience to tell me.
Well, there's always, it's, take any complex product that you've worked on, right? And the number and the multidiscipline teams involved, right? ChatGPT can only do a fraction of it sometimes, right? So it's not magic, right? Yeah, it's going to completely replace and dominate certain fields. Like I just mentioned, I did my tax the other day, right? You can't tell me that in 10 years' time, AI is not going to completely take over the tax accounting side of things, right? What
tax accounting,
there's a strict set of rules published by the government. All it needs to do is read those, and boom, and it knows how to. And there's no point being a freaking 100%. Accountant. It's just no point.
Well, there's still some point, but
it's still some point, because people, some people will only trust humans and they want the human relationship and everything. But you can't say that industry is not going to be decimated by AI. Right?
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Legal
I think
field, just doing legal, tedious paperwork. Not really the high level stuff, but the lower level stuff is just going to, just going to bang.
I think it might bifurcate in the same way that we're talking about here, right? Like
it could.
The prompt engineer of the accounting field will be the ones who are able to twiddle the bits, or whatever the equivalent is for these AI engines that are doing accounting stuff. But then the fixers, there's also the fixers.
Is that a race to the bottom financially? Like job-wise, if you're a prompt engineer, it might be highly sought after now, $330K a year, but in 10 years' time, it's $30K a year, because that's a basic expectation of every high school graduate, right? Is that you can run ChatGPT, so you can do prompt engineering.
Yeah,
for X task,
These are really good questions.
Yeah.
Probably for
back when I was a boy, right? Just the ability to use Microsoft Office tools was a highlight on your resume. Right, being able to use spreadsheets was a highlight on your resume.
Man. That's really wild.
Seriously, right? But that was a highly sought after thing, right? I think we mentioned this a couple of months ago. I was considered a god at one company I worked at, because I could insert pictures in Word documents, right? It was like, people were bowing down. This is just like
And now look at you. You insert
exactly.
photos onto the
Yeah,
internet
yeah,
in
right.
sequential order, 24
Yeah,
frames per second or
it's
so.
nuts. Oh god. Yeah.
All right. So what I was getting at, what I was starting to lean towards with this is I not actually tied to AI because I'm trying not to think about AI as much as possible. But I have been thinking about learning plans and educating myself. Foo. Educate yourself, foo. Yeah. So I've actually
Yeah.
been thinking through this. I got a lot to learn, Dave, and I'm trying to figure out like so I think I've told you I've been doing language classes, and in the past I've done like
Right.
piano classes, but
Yep.
there are no electronic classes. I mean, or like even coding classes. Like they're always kind of structured, not like lessons are, not like a piano lesson is or a language lesson is.
Hmm. What are you getting
Do,
at?
well, that's like a structured kind of thing where there's like drills. So part of me is like, oh, you should go and revise contextual electronics to do this sort of thing. And I'm like, back up, Chris. You got to learn this stuff first. So what I'm really thinking is like, I got to lay out a learning plan for myself to do this sort of thing where it's almost like I need like a coach, and then I need like not a curriculum, but like a,
You're gonna have to give me a specific example because I'm not really following you here.
here's some things that I said I would like to be doing. I wrote a post about this on my consulting forum. So this is,
Okay.
this is
Right.
the structure of this. One thing I said that I'd like to do is build a embedded Linux system like Jay Carlson wrote about. So you remember that post, that fantastic post when Jay
Oh
came on the show
yeah.
was talking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was amazing.
So
You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Jay has like three very seminal pieces on his blog. One is like the $1 microcontroller. Another is the
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
build an embedded system.
Super
And then
good.
one's about his lab. All of
Right.
them are just fantastic, among other things. I think there's some others on there. Another one on the firmware side of things, right? So basically, bottom up, pull together an RTOS design without any assistance. So you kind of just do it myself. So that's kind of like a higher level IoT style product,
Yeah.
but do it without all of the resources that I kind of have available day to day. So take like a free RTOS design, kind of plug it all together and kind of build it from the bottom up.
Well, once again, it's all going to depend on which RTOS you use. Like
Yeah. In
they're
that
all
case, that
different.
would be
Right.
free RTOS. I specifically like free RTOS, and this was a response from a forum member saying, as well, saying like, yeah, you should like glue stuff together, like the network stack and the, putting in different drivers and having a good project to go towards that. So that's kind of like a high level system.
You want software stack engineering skills, do you?
Yeah,
Is that
I think the real thing I want there is the one thing I want to get like the drill on and get better at is being able to kind of glue together pieces, right? So like some of the really good firmware engineers I've seen, they're able to like take examples from various disparate parts of the internet.
Yes, and then just glue like within minutes they're all tied together. I know. I'm so jealous. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they'll like pull in like an LVGL driver, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know. I've seen this kind of display before." And on the get a display driver going with
and
like
it's
some
working
example
in 10
code.
minutes. Yeah, I know. I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like it's fantastic. But like that comes like I realize that comes from hard work and then a lot of experience, and I need to just kind of find that experience and like cycle on that. Right. Another one was like low level type stuff, so like that RISC-32 part, right? Like the one, the cheapo one that I have to buy a bunch of. That's right, the CS32V003. Like, so then that's like a low level one, and so I want to work more on like building low level kind of bit masking, like basically direct register talking in C, that sort of thing.
Mm.
Another thing was building out build pipelines, like CI/CD build pipelines for firmware, because that's something that's just like deployable everywhere, right? If you get into that, you build containers. That's something I want to do more. Scripting, I feel like there's a lot of scripting stuff that I need to get better at. So like Python, really just learning Python. And then I said,
I thought you were already a Python guy.
I have used Python, but I'm not comfortable in Python.
Okay. Okay. That's news to me.
Yeah. No. And then like I feel like I need to build up. So I've been using a lot of FreeCAD lately. I've been feeling better about it. But like still it's like that's like a muscle you got to work out. You know what I mean? So like it's almost like Sophie Wong was on the Contextual Electronics podcast early on, and she talked about doing the 30 days of like modeling, like of like objects. I feel like that's like the kind of like repetition type of stuff.
That sounds about right. You'd want to be doing models for a month before you get kind of fluid. Yep.
Right. And then there's like, but then there's like, so like thinking about, so like, that's a good example, right? So that's like working out is like that's like a, every kind of day you're trying new things. Maybe you're pulling in new
Mm.
ways to, so maybe I'm working on like revolving shapes in 3D modeling to like get more comfortable with that sort of thing. But like just thinking about, I need to build that muscle, right? You need to like build that muscle
Yeah.
and then maintain that muscle. And so that's what I'm talking about here. Like that's like a learning, like I think about a learning plan is like, or like if I was taking a language course, it'd be like, oh, well, the teacher would be like, well, you're good at modeling 3D boxes in 3D software, but you're not good at doing cones. Let's work on cones today. And then they
Oh,
would kind of
okay.
formulate.
I see where
Yeah.
you're coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
So like imagine that in each of these fields that I was talking about. I also said
Yep.
content, software. So I said basically hardware, firmware, software engineering, 3D modeling, and content. Yeah, and that's
Got it.
kind of like when
Okay.
I think about that sort of thing. And it's a lifelong goal, but like I
Hmm.
need like a coach, I guess, like a
Well,
high
you can. There's this
performance
guy who
nerd
has this
coach.
website called Contextual Electronics who'll
No,
guide
I get
you
it.
through these sorts of things.
That's not what he does. I mean, yeah, he does that. He does that for some people, but like
Right.
I need that for me. I need like a coaches need coaching too. I don't know.
Right. Well, I don't know. Has anyone seen anyone out there that offers that sort
Yeah,
of electronics tutoring?
coaching.
I
Yeah.
guess coaching.
I think about it like sports coaching though,
Electronics.
almost like it's like sports coaching. Like even like Tiger
It's a
Woods has
high
a coach.
performance. Would that be high
Bad
performance?
example
No, that's
maybe.
not a high
Serena.
performance coach. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think one thing is like you need to like have someone who also sees your weakness and then like can help break it down, right? That's
Yes,
like a
yes,
really
they
good
they know
coach
what
does
your
that.
weakness is, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's not just like you use the example of music or a friend
Mm.
like a language or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not as easy to spot in engineering because
It's not, right.
because the whole process is so long and
Mm.
convoluted that you can't just go, okay, let's just sit down for an hour and see what your weaknesses are. It's like
Right, right.
like you've got to do a project over months, and then like
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
it's just
I
is it
do
even
think one
possible?
thing with coaching, like a really, I think coaches are good at like when you are avoiding something, that's like a really good sign for a coach to like
Right.
hone in
Okay.
on it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like so if you're like you like
Yeah.
weightlifting and stuff like that. Like if you're
Yeah. Yeah.
favoring your right shoulder, they might be like, what
Oh yeah.
why are you doing that, right?
Why are
You're
you
like
doing
you're
that?
pulling your
Yep.
right shoulder. Why are you doing that? And it's
Yeah.
like let's go work on building up your right shoulder more or
Yep.
something
Exactly.
like that,
Yeah.
But that's really tough. It is tough to do, and it's I mean honestly, it's expensive to time and money and
Yeah. No,
whatever
I'm
too.
not even sure that's entirely possible in the electronics design realm.
I mean, I just
As I
told you the
said, the
things that I suck at,
timeframes are
though.
just like
That part
yeah.
helps,
Well,
right? I
you
know
can
what I need work
find
on.
individual people, I guess, to help
Yeah,
you on specific things, but knowing what the specific
yeah,
things are is pretty much on
yeah.
you, I think.
You're right, right. It's almost like you need like a, you know what I really need is like a, like in like epic magical quests. There's always like you kind of come upon the new master, and then they teach you that thing, and then you go along your journey, and then you find a new master. That's the kind of thing that I need, like in a
Right. All
fantasy
right.
story, I
Well,
suppose.
well, well, in some industries, you've got absolutely no hope at all.
Sure.
I just sent you a link to Lewis Rossman's. I really liked this video rant that he did
Uh huh.
5 days ago. It's titled "The Lower Rungs on the Economic Ladder Are Gone," and it's
Mm,
basically him. It's a really good explanation of how he used to do things, how he built up his channel, built up his business. Well, he's
mm,
built up his business basically, and how you can't really do that today. The same
mm,
rungs on the ladder are physically not there for someone to follow in his
mm.
footsteps. After
Yeah.
all the hard work he's been doing for a decade, trying to build all these tutorials to help people out, do the exact same business, start the same business he's on, he explains quite methodically how those lower rungs just aren't there anymore. You almost literally
Interesting.
can't get into the business he's in now the same way that he did. It doesn't exist.
And he's talking about YouTube, not like repair.
No, no,
or
no.
repair.
I know he's talking about the repair business, not the
Oh,
YouTube
interesting.
business. So he's talking
Yeah.
about the repair business, and a lot of
Yeah,
people
repair
have
has
followed in his
changed.
foot. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
and the fact that you can't get. Not only can't you get the parts anymore, but how they're locked in and all
Sure,
that sort of.
sure,
But
sure.
all the equipment and everything else. It's something kind of like, yeah, there's all these rungs that he stepped up. May earn a bit of money, bought this tool, and earned a bit more money,
Sure,
bought
sure,
this,
sure.
these screens, bought them in bulk, stepped up, and how
Yeah.
those rungs just aren't there anymore. They've just it's
Sure,
it's
sure.
complete rug pull for the entire repair industry.
Yeah,
It's like,
I have. So I haven't watched
Yeah.
this yet, but I mean, it is kind of that happens in a lot of industries, right? Of like the proven
Oh, sure.
path, right?
Yep.
That's why I think to speak about education systems, present company included, anytime someone says like, "I will show you the path," really what they're saying is, "I will show you the path of the way I did it." Right? There's
Which
no
worked
guarantee that
10
it's.
years ago.
That's
but
right, exactly. Like
it's,
always
yeah,
need
yeah.
to take that with a grain of salt, right? And
Yeah,
like
right.
that's. I think that's
Yeah, of
even in
course.
traditional education, right? Like they're like, oh, well, you need to learn A, B, C, and then D. It's like, well, nobody cares about A, B, or C anymore, and I just need to go straight to
Exactly.
D, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, in educational type scenarios, that's always a part of a problem. Is just like
Mm.
you can only really say the path that has been in the past, and
Yeah. Will the AI, will the prompt engineering become
mm,
that D? And A, B, and
yeah, maybe.
C are gone. So many people hyper focus on the next decade on D, on
Mm,
learning D, that they give up A,
could
B,
be.
and C, and then they realize in a decade's time they've completely come a gutsy because they don't have skills in A, B, and C.
Yeah, I think it's important to always be flexible at the end of your journey, right? Because I mean, I think about like the people that I guess some of the people that signed up for my course, right? A lot of them were like, yeah, I went to school for electrical engineering. It was like the money was supposed to be so good in that, and then like
Yeah.
I graduated in 2000, and like the bottom fell out. There
Yeah.
was
Right.
nothing there, and so then I went into IT eventually, right? That was like a very common story that I heard,
Oh, totally.
and
Yeah.
then they loved electronics though, like
Mm.
because it's awesome, of course, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like, and they wanted to get back to it. Like that is a very common thing. So, but like there was no there.
I did that once I realized this all this networking stuff when the networking
Yeah.
boom took off. I thought I should probably get skills in this. So I actually went and did a course on
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. Yeah,
I
that
didn't know
was, oh
that.
god, yeah, that was maybe late 90s,
Uh huh.
So I have a
So
diploma in networking or something it is. Yeah.
so what made you decide not to pursue it further?
Oh, that was just I just thought it was a handy skill to have. I just kept doing engineering work. I didn't end up
Huh.
changing jobs, but I thought,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
the industry was headed. Oh, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But no, as it turns out, didn't really need those skills a lot. And that industry tanked. All the networking
Yeah,
jobs just started to tank fairly
yeah.
fast after that. So,
I
yep.
did hear someone talking about how fiber, like installations, are up again. Like there's been like a leap forward in fiber. I don't know if it's like transoceanic fiber, but like, oh, who was telling me about this? I think it was one of my former coworkers telling me that like the fiber industry has been roaring back in certain areas because of some big leap forward in terms of like networking speed.
Okay. Well, it
Um,
just seems old
yeah,
hat to
yeah,
me.
I was
It's like,
surprised about it. Yeah, I know exactly,
yeah,
exactly. But also, like, it does seem like almost incremental. Even if you go from like 10 gig to 100 gig, like, yeah, that's a 2 decade improvement. But
yep.
like, I don't need that. Do you?
But the good thing about fiber is once the fiber's installed, then you
Yeah,
just you don't change. You typically don't change the fiber. You just
yeah,
change the
yeah.
tech on both ends, and magically you've up by an
Right,
order of
right. Yeah,
magnitude.
the physical layer is the same
Yep.
pretty much, right? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. There you go. How did we get dragged back into bloody AI again? I don't know.
Well, you said it. You said it
Yeah.
there.
Did I?
That one.
Did I
That one.
start
Yeah,
it?
you did.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
but you
did.
carried it on.
I did. Yeah, it's tough not to talk about these days. It's everywhere too, and it's
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
yeah. What kind of electronics do you want to talk about? We'll see. Maybe we could start a
Ooh.
timer.
Oh, electronics.
I know, right? We could start a timer and see how long it takes us to get dragged back into AI. What do you think?
Right. Okay. Yep. All
Uh,
right.
did you see the hardware that has now been released that I made that I was telling you about?
Oh, that video you sent me.
Yeah, the
Of the
video
one on
and
the trade show stand,
yeah, yep.
or is there another
That's right.
update to that?
There's another one. Here is a link for you. This is maybe I didn't tell you. I talked to when I had my coworker Mike on the show. We were talking about it a little bit, but it's just the reverse mount LED thing.
This is the one we talked about the other week. This is the exact same
We
link.
did. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
never
exact
mind
same
that.
link, dude.
I guess I'm not
sorry,
making that
we're
much
gonna
new
have to-
hardware, Dave. Yeah.
No.
See, this is
Me
why I need a
neither.
learning plan to
I
make
know.
more hardware.
Right.
Hmm.
All right. Well, have we got any electronic stuff on our list here? How about those 555 timers, eh?
What?
Hey?
That's an old. There's a throwback right there. What's up with the 555 timers, Dave?
No, well, Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
No, somebody was talking on the forum the other day about an excellent link about they're talking about the fake chips on eBay. They bought a fake 074 op amp,
Oh,
quad op amp. It turned out to be an LM324, but it's rebadged
Hmm.
as a 074, and they're quite different, quite different
yeah,
chips. You know,
yeah.
so
Like the
significantly
TL074
different.
or something else?
Yeah, just a normal
Okay.
TL was, it had the TI branding or something on it,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, it turned out to
Mm.
be no. When they actually ran it through the basic tests, then they were getting crossover distortion, they were getting all
Yeah,
other
getting
things
close to
that
the
are
rail. The rails
yeah,
were like
yeah,
3 volts on either end or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly, yeah. So you can tell,
Yeah.
This is not a TL074,
It's crazy. It's
and
crazy that there's so much
there's a
money in
market
the
for
like
that.
the
Yeah,
gray
I
market
know.
system
It's
that
just,
it can pay for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And, like the solution's obvious. Don't ever buy parts on eBay. Only buy them from the legitimate distributors. But then other people saying, oh, the legitimate distributors are too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, are they? Really? Well, we can buy onesies for,
Right.
practically nothing.
Do you ever watch? I know you like a lot of like bad movies. Do you
Mm.
ever watch Super Troopers? That comedy.
Super
No?
Troopers.
No? Oh, add that one to your list.
You're
You'll like that
talking
one.
about Starship Troopers?
Nope. Super Troopers. It's about highway cops in Vermont.
Super Trooper was a ABBA album back in the
Oh,
70s.
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the characters in that, he has a line that's like, "Desperation is a stinky cologne," and that's what I think about buying people buying chips off eBay. That's a stinky cologne.
Right. Sign of desperation. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
It's just I was thinking about doing. Well, here's a video idea that I just had yesterday, which I might do.
Me. Yeah.
I thought about what is the best project I can make for 10 cents or $1
For 10
maybe
10 cents.
Yeah, because I've see,
Come on.
You might be surprised, but I've done a video on the 1 cent regulator. Right? Okay. Well, a voltage regulator is 1 cent. I bet you I can get an op amp for a couple of cents.
Paducah or
I can get a 3 cent
CH32.
Paducah microcontroller. Right?
You count the PCB. Well, we kind of talked about this on the show. Remember we said the $100 prototype as well. Remember that was more like shipping and all the other crap you'd have to do though too. So
no,
okay.
but I,
all right,
I
so
thought maybe
$1
if
cost.
a dollar bomb cost or something,
Yeah, sure,
the $1 bomb challenge that could be like a contest,
That could be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be fantastic. Anyway, you could basically that would be you would have to do that in reverse. You would have to, and I'm not saying that I haven't done this before. Come up with actual ideas for projects based on cost and availability. You start with the case. You see a gorgeous case, and you go, "Wow, I wonder what I can do with that case. Oh, that's sexy."
Sure.
And then you come up with the idea. Same thing here, right? You go to LCSC, for example, right? That'd be your go-to destination, right? Which is the Chinese equivalent to DigiKey and Mouser. You go there and then you sort by price. You sort, okay, I need a 1 cent voltage regulator, I need a 1 cent op amp, I need a 3 cent microcontroller, right? What other stuff can I get and what can I build? Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I've got 20 cents worth of parts. That leaves me 80 cents for my PCB. Oh. What can I make for my $1?
How many do you have to make too? I guess that's another thing, right?
Well, you just have to maybe, specify like 100 volume or something so that you could get and assuming that you handmade them all, so there's no assembly cost and you just, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe you take out postage, right? Just because that comes out in the wash, right? It's like,
well, not if you're paying $1 per.
But still,
you're saying like,
right.
If you were going to be extending this to 100 million units,
even 1,000 units, right? Once you extend it to 1,000 units, postage becomes absolutely trivial, right?
I don't know, man. I've been shipping some stuff, and it gets up there. Like if you have like multiple. So like, how about this? I finally closed out the round of parts that I bought in March of 2022. They finally were all delivered, but they were delivered in about 8 different batches. No, 12 different batches. Right?
Yeah,
it was like pretty insane. It was.
So you paid like $30 for each one, or did the distributor absorb that cost?
They charge for each one. Yeah.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. And so I mean, it does add. It's not like in the long run, yeah, it's not a big deal. And I
Sure.
mean, at this point, honestly, I'm just
Yeah,
happy to
but
have
if you get them
parts.
all from their one source and they're all in stock and you
Yeah,
buy,
sure.
like 1,000 of each, then postage isn't going to be a huge deal.
Right, right. I'm just saying it can
Yeah, of course it can.
impact things.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, I thought that'd be cool. So there you
That's
go.
a great idea. I like it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yep. The $1
Okay.
project. Yeah.
Bring it. Bring it on.
Mm. Mm.
I found something on our list that I thought would be kind of interesting. ARM seeks to raise prices ahead of hotly anticipated IPO.
How? No, this is not electronics. This is just.
This is electronics because so I saw this actually. Ray Ozzie, former guest of the show, shared this on LinkedIn and had some good insight on it. And so it's an FT article. We'll link it in. But basically, ARM is the IP maker in many of the chips that we all know and love.
Yes. ARM don't make chips. For those who don't know,
That's right. That's right.
they make the core. They make the IP core, which
The
then
IP,
other people
right? Exactly.
license. They're purely a licensed company. So
And they usually do it on a per chip basis, right? So you sell
per part,
100
yeah.
million chips,
Yeah.
it's some fractional cent per the IP. There's like upfront cost, then usually it's an IP thing. And now they're saying no, we're actually going to change how we charge for this sort of thing. And so Ray posted this and had
Oh, they've made a pivot in the way in their
I think because
fundamental.
they're trying to juice. I mean, they say they're trying to
approach.
juice the numbers so that they look better when they IPO. If people don't remember, ARM was owned by Masasan and the what the hell is that Japanese fund called?
Yep.
Masasan is the whatever it is. It's the monstrous fund that bought ARM and also owned WeWork. So really
Oh,
great,
right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
we work.
And then they were supposed to get bought, I think, by Nvidia a while back.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And
And
then
that
that
was
got
stopped.
blocked.
That
That was
was
blocked.
yeah.
And
Right.
now, so then they said, okay, well, we got blocked there. Now we're going to go IPO sometime this year. And now, so they're trying to make that look really good so that they get lots of dollars and everybody's happy, whatever.
Right.
But this fundamentally changes things, right? So now it's basically saying it's not about how many chips you sell and we'll charge you per chip. It's now big chunk of money and you're on your own, right? And I think
Well,
it's because
maybe this is a response to the RISC-V thing. Everyone's jumping on the RISC-V bandwagon, right?
well, maybe, but they still own 95% of the market. So that's
Yeah, but maybe they can see the
I think
curve,
they
that
do.
hockey
Yeah.
stick curve starting to.
I think they're nervous, but this isn't actually a move that you would make if you were nervous about it. You would cut prices. You wouldn't juice prices. So I do think that this is going to have some impacts generally, but I think RISC-V will get accelerated as a result of this, not the other way around. And I couldn't be happier.
Well, imagine if you were an existing ARM customer and you were on a royalty basis and you paid per how many chips you use, and all of a sudden they come along to you, oh, sorry, we're changing the agreement,
Price changed,
and now we want $50 million cash up
That's
front,
right.
but we'll give you the chips
Exactly.
for free. It's like, where are you going to get that coin from?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. It changes everything.
That's
It changes.
just like, yeah.
Yeah, it's pulling the rug out from under. So, and I think, a lot of the times, you and I are used to like teeny tiny microcontroller type of things. That's not where they're making their money. They're making their money on
of course.
smartphones, the
Yep.
A98, whatever the hell these numbers are these days that are in like the Snapdragon, all this other crazy ones that are out there. So like, that's really what this is going towards. And I'm sure that's the big one, but like, I guarantee that, Qualcomm, as much as they're not talking about it yet, there's RISC-V that is just getting infiltrated to everything here because like this is a cost center for all of them. So it's just like I think this is just going to be a huge accelerator of that sort of thing.
Right.
Especially in China, right? I mean, if you think about like the stuff being made there, where like they said, the average price for a smartphone chip is $40 for Qualcomm, $17 for MediaTek, and $6 for Unisoc. And so, if you don't think Unisoc's trying to save some coin of that $6, like
totally.
I mean, they are, right? Like,
yep.
as you go down in margin, you're trying to save more money. So why wouldn't you start developing your own IP or even buying just cheaper IP? Like remember, RISC-V is a instruction set architecture, is not an actual processor. However, many of the tools then can be developed or to work with your stuff, the core that you develop. So you could still buy a core that might be cheaper, that still uses the same instruction sets, but might be way cheaper than an ARM core. But then you could still have some tooling around it because of the stuff that's out there. So we'll see how it goes.
There you go. Well,
Yeah. So thanks to Ray for posting that. It's an interesting piece.
there's going to be a lot of butthurt people soon, I think.
That Ray Ozzie, who helped invent Azure and a bunch of other things, he's going places. He knows his stuff.
Yeah. All right. We have no other electronics related stuff on our list.
No, there's other stuff on here. There must be. Dave, come on.
Will a bridge rectifier work after it's been laser decapulated? Is that even a word? No, I'm just inventing words. That's kind of cool. I need to know the answer. Yeah. Will it actually work? Yeah. Oh, this is a great time-lapse video of a chip being lasered. Oh.
Is it like the one where they kind of raster the top of it off, basically, and you get down to the silicon?
Yeah, this is what they're doing here on this video. Okay. Wow. Oh, you can see the individual connections, and then, oh, man, I need to do this. I need a laser. Maybe I should take up those video sponsorships of all those companies offering me a laser.
Oh, really?
Cutter. Oh, yeah.
Laser cutter's a little different, just so you know.
Why?
Well,
what do I need? A laser engraver, laser cutter?
I think you needed to be more dialed in. I don't know, actually. This is like laser ablation, I think, when they're taking the top off of a chip, like the polyamide off. I think it's like ablation.
Sure, but it's just dialing in the right power, right? I mean,
yeah, I you know what? I wouldn't actually know where to start with that sort of stuff, so I'll stop talking about it. Yeah, I don't actually know. Yeah.
Anyway, that's interesting. I've never seen inside a bridge rectifier, like as in a large 4-pin flat pack bridge rectifier before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wonder if that was in. I have my open circuits thing here. I wonder if they put that in there.
There you go.
Yeah, I
like it. Need to start playing with lasers.
Yeah, how is your tooling set up around the lab? Are you?
No, it's I know. I need to
pick and place was a no.
No, unfortunately, it's no, the pick and place. I just had a lead on a good one, but it wouldn't physically fit through the door. Oh, so yeah,
that's rough.
Had to.
Yeah.
Yep. No.
Yeah. So on the laser side of things, so I did a bunch of laser cutting for the conference. Like I made like backing plates, basically like things that I mounted demos to. I think I talked about it last time.
Right.
And like if you need anything like that, it's not. I personally think it's not worth it to get a laser cutter unless you like know you're going to be doing that all day, every day. Yeah, I think it's just like there's services out there where you can just pay for it much cheaper. But
sure.
Is there decapping services?
Well, the same thing with a 3D printer these days. You could argue that, if you're in the US, I don't think it's that. I don't even think, is there a company in Australia that'll 3D print locally and send it to you for nicks?
Oh, 100%, yes. Yeah? I guarantee there is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Search that.
Yeah. I think I think there's a little bit more in guess and check. Well, at least how I do 3D modeling, there's a little bit more guess and check. So like up to the point where I know the fit's going to be perfect.
Yep.
Whereas like if I'm doing laser cutting stuff, it's often like artistic. I mean, there's still like form and fit type of stuff.
Right.
But
oh yeah, there you go. Digital manufacturing accessible from $5 Aussie bucks. There you go. From $5 Aussie bucks, they'll Zelta 3D will from 1 to 1,000 parts. Yeah.
Sounds like you should be ordering some this afternoon. That's what I'm thinking.
1 to 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
Sweet.
Next step is FreeCAD. Yeah. Thomas Erlander did a review of KiCad, or not KiCad, FreeCAD. I don't know if you know his channel, but
I don't.
It was not a glowing recommendation, but it was a was a review from a major YouTuber in the 3D space. So that's something. That's something that doesn't happen that often. It's still incredibly rough. Using it. So
is it just have we reached the point where 3D printer and laser cutter, you're almost it's almost pointless having your own because the services out there are so cheap and you can't beat this $100,000 printer printing your part versus your little dinky $300 eBay jobby printing it. Like there's no contest.
Like I said, I think the only thing is fit, like initial fit and finish, and like
maybe
and like holding a part in your hand. Like there's still no
physically,
there's still no like like we talked to Jerry Ellsworth about like the promise of like holding a digital prototype and like an AR style prototype in your hand, like that.
Right.
That's like the promise of AR that never really landed. But there's still no like good way to get a sense of scale. Like, like when you've done a circuit board
Mm.
and then you get it back from the manufacturer and you're like, oh my God, this is so much smaller than I thought
Oh
it was
yeah,
going to be.
yeah, right, yeah.
Like that same effect, but like with 3D print, like 3D printing, like to be able to even throw a rough model into my printer and then be like,
Sure,
oh,
that's
that was way
very
too small.
useful. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
useful, but but are you like, is it like good enough to use? Because if you want to like
No, no,
use
no.
it,
I think then what you do is you use the rough model, right? You get
you're
your fit
right,
and finish, whatever. You
and
get
then
your
you
rough
order
dimensions.
so you can have that in
And
an hour or two. Your
that's
rough
right.
model, and
Exactly.
then in a day or two you'll have your
That's right.
real part.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can iterate on it too, right? So I can
Right.
get probably 10
Right.
iterations in a day
Yeah, totally.
versus, any kind of shipping back and forth, that sort of thing.
Still quite useful.
I think there still is some value,
Yeah.
but there's no value in me having $100,000 printer in my house, right? Because
Right. No,
to
no,
get
of
the
course not.
cash back from that, you need to be able to like doing it every
Quite
day.
a step up in level. It's like the pick and place machine, right? You've got to step up to the $20,000 machine before it's like it's really quite good.
Yeah. Have you seen those assist machines for pick and place? So it's like still hand pick and place, but it like steadies your hand and it's got vacuum pickup and those sort of things.
They're a manual automated, they call them like a semi-manual pick and place machine. And they've got like arms and they've got trays and they've got like a suction thing and it's,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they can get really complicated, actually. They can get really complex.
Exactly.
So you can pay, a fair bit of coin for those.
Sure. And then, like foot switches on the pressure thing. Like, that's what I think about as like a in-between kind of thing that actually, you could still be, like it's not worth it. Like, where is that crossover point for pick and place? It's like 10, 100 units, 50 units.
Yeah, exactly. There's still that very narrow window. There's still that narrow operational viability window,
Yeah. Well, I think it's also the complexity of the board,
And it's like, and it's the same with the 3D printer. Like, yeah, I've got one. But if I want to use it, it's not just set up, ready to go. Like I'd have to, I've got to get it. And the new software doesn't work with the old firmware. And I got to, like, it takes me all day just to get the thing bloody operational again to do my one print.
I have taken care of that by buying a brand that is pretty bulletproof. But
right. Okay.
I know the feeling. I felt that exact feeling with my old printer. And now I'm past that. So
I think I'll just take one of the companies that have offered me a 3D printer. I'll just do a review on my second channel. Then I'll have a new 3D printer.
Buy it, man. It's nothing better than buying one that's bulletproof.
Yeah.
I haven't
well,
messed with mine.
They've offered them to me for free. So,
I know, but those aren't going to be bulletproof. That's what I'm saying. Get community supported, bulletproof, so that you don't have to think about it.
What is your brand then?
I have a Prusa Mini. Prusa Mini has been flawless. It's been no thought process involved. It's an actual tool. It is a joy to use, and it's an open source hardware company, so extra bonus.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just checking if they've contacted me. Prusa haven't. Yeah. No, but I've got Crealty. Is that how you pronounce it?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. They contacted me. They contacted me the other day. It's like,
sure.
What is wrong with that one? Right. Nothing. Right.
There's just a lot of fiddling, like that's what I looked at those too. I don't know why.
Why,
Dave, I don't
is
have
the Prusa just magic?
I don't know.
I bet you I can find people that hate the Prusa and go, oh no, it gave me all sorts of problems. Betcha.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean you're right. Fine. Go with the other one. I just think it's, buying hands-off tools is a joy, right? I mean I think you can at least agree with that statement.
Right. Okay. Well. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. The New York Times seems to agree with you. The Prusa Mini Plus offers the best overall 3D printing experience thanks to its combination of print quality, reliability, and desktop appropriate use. That's for 2023. Now, no, I am looking at this Prusa Mini, right? I am looking at this damn thing, and I'm going, no way, that is reliable. That just looks like a thrown together. The base of it is 3D printed.
I know. It's insane.
Right?
It's insane.
Bullshit. Yeah. You can't tell me that is reliable.
Man. It is printed hundreds of prints for me, and I've calibrated
that looks
the
like
first
the
time,
dodgiest 3D printer I've seen in the last 5 years. Seriously.
Reach out to Prusa, get one. Be like, I'm a skeptic, and I want to have one of your printers. It's so easy. 100% endorsement from here. I hope they send me one. Oh man, if only I had any sway with anyone, Dave.
That just looks like the dinkiest 3D printer.
Two things in life: I need a coach that can help guide me through learning more, and I need another Prusa printer. I'm going to Prague in June, so maybe I can go visit them.
Look, the New York Times article says flaws, but they're not deal breakers.
No,
okay.
What
sorry,
are the flaws?
I'm not. No,
it's fine, Dave. You don't have to get one. You don't print that often. Here's the thing. I tell people this all the time. The thing that you need to do if you are interested in 3D printing in the space, like you don't have to get good at like the printing part. Like assume, there are other good printers out there too, right? Like just let's leave that whole conversation behind. There are other good printers. You can, once it's dialed in, you should never have to touch it again, hopefully.
Yeah, right.
Then what? You're just printing other people's designs? No, you need to if you're using a 3D printer in any you need to get good at modeling, and that part is friggin' hard.
Yes.
It is a lot harder in FreeCAD than other ones. I love Fusion 360. I loved it. I don't want to use it anymore, but it's very good software, and the other ones are too. But you need to get good at that, and that is the skill you have to build, not the dialing of 3D printers. That's not how it used to be. That's.
Totally agree.
The MakerBot days are over, thankfully.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can remember when I got a rigid support arm for my MakerBot. Oh God, it made a world of difference.
Big days.
Yeah. It was heaven. Oh God. Yep. Anyway.
Yeah, and then you go and print another Benchy, right?
Right. Print another Yoda head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Oh God. Those were the days. Anyway. All right. There you go. Our amp hour's up. Mostly taken up with AI. Sorry.
Dave, we made it.
AI and 3D printing, for God's sake.
I know. What are we?
We should pathetic.
You know what we should do?
Let's change our name.
Next time, we should be on ChatGPT live. We can just be like, what should we talk about next?
Yeah, and we can
be like,
we can get ChatGPT to suggest things. Please suggest it. We are an electronics focused podcast. Please suggest us things to talk about.
Isn't everything just going to become the same? Oh man, here we are talking about it again. Isn't everything just going to be the same? Isn't? Dave, we're headed into a weird time. Yeah, we're headed into a weird time.
Oh boy. All right.
All right.
That's it.
Talk to you soon.
Catch you next time.